One of the purposes of this channel is to get you to realize there's all kinds of things available to you if you just keep your eyes open and look around. That's where this chassis table came from. We're setting this thing up to start doing the tube chassis layout for the 39 Dodge pickup. There's a lot of stuff available for you if you just keep your eyes open and look around. It doesn't have to cost you anything but a little work. That's where this whole frame chassis table came from, thanks to my buddy Chris. It's assembled. There's a few things left to do to it, but it is ready to rock and roll all night and party once in a while. Let's get into it. Stick around. I'm Mike, and you are watching My Car Shop. In our last episode on this, I had it basically roughed together, but I didn't have the legs cut off. I know I certainly didn't have it painted. I didn't share that with you because cutting off legs, painting, yeah, it's just not stuff that makes for good content. But what I am going to do today, even though I have these steel plates on here, we may put a third one on in the middle, but probably not. But what I do want to do is get these bolted down to the chassis frame. It's a little wiggly. I'm not totally happy with that, but it is pretty level. We've got some fine tuning to do, but the reality is with something like this is once these surfaces here are the most important, and we'll use these as our reference points for everything moving forward. So we'll make sure that these are as level as possible. But we're pretty good to build this thing from this point forward. So I want to drill holes. I bought bolts. I'm going to drill holes and tap those holes to bolt these plates down so they're held square to the frame. So let's get that done first, which means we need to take our frame rails. Yeah, we don't need to take them off. Let's just do it. Yeah, that's it. We'll just get them squared up on here and we'll do it. So the first thing I want to do is just kind of come in from the end and see where we're at. That one's at 8 1/4. That one's at 7 3/4. I do like the idea of it being closer, further forward. So we'll try to get that around the same distance as that one over there. A little more. These shelves that this is made from, they are not what I would call high holy accurate. 7 7/8. 7 3/4. So we need to come up just a nova. Okay. 7 3/4. 7 3/4 ish. Could come a little bit more, but I also got to come in this way and see where we're at. 3, yeah, 3 7/8 there. Let's go to the other side and measure that one. This is pretty close here, I think. Yep, 3 7/8. So that's probably pretty close to square like a toilet. Probably should get my square and make sure it's square. Problem is I got to remember where is my square. So there we go. I got this one bolted down. I still got to do that one, but the plate is nice and tight now. So the next thing I want to do is surface this plate, meaning just get it cleaned up. So it means I got to get all my crap out of the way here and get it cleaned up. I'll get the back one bolted on there better, but my batteries are dead. I had to get out my corded drill. My hands are hurting because that was such a bugger. But that plate pulled down really nice. So once I get this cleaned up and get all the stuff off of it, then I can just double check my level on the level and make sure that everything is level. that was a job, but it's done. Plates are all bolted down now. We could put one more in the middle if we wanted to. Not yet. I got the frame rails on here, and I think the first thing I want to do is get this frame blocked up enough that I can take the K-frame, flip it upside down, and put it on the rails so I can determine the bolt location, because I really think that's the first thing that needs to happen here, is to get the bolt pattern figured out where this is going to be perfectly, and then get the nuts put underneath inside the frame so that I can weld those in there permanently. And that's really going to determine a lot as far as the squareness of the frame and so forth, the layout. So once that's in there, then we will flip it and leave the K-frame on it and start engineering it backwards. But that also means we're going to have to weld it up off of the table to a certain height. I don't think I have enough 4x4 blocks right now to temporarily set it up. 1, 2, buckle my shoe, 3. I have 3. I can probably come up with a 4th, so let me do that. Before I do that, I forgot I was going to show you the level. See it? Right on the money that way. Right on the money this way. And at an angle, we're pretty much right on the money. Depends where you measure it. That plate must have a little warpage. But yeah, we're good. So that corner down there is just a little high. We'll have to deal with that. But for now, our main thing is going to be our frame rail level, and it's close. And the main thing is we have a good surface to mount to so we can tweak things as we need to get the frame perfectly square and level. That's the main thing about a chassis table. That doesn't have to be perfectly level. We need the frame to be what's perfectly level. So we need the chassis table close, but we need the frame perfect. I'm not trying to make it perfect at this point. I'm just trying to get it close. It should be 32.5 center to center. We're 32.5 here. Should be the same back here. Yep. So that's pretty close. So the next step then is to get the K-frame and lay it on there. I've got a job of work on that K-frame. I don't know what I did with the other one. Let me see if that one's in the back room. We might be able to use that one temporarily because they're exactly the same car. They're both out of a 70. One's out of a 73. The other one's out of 76. But for all intents and purposes, they're the same. So, yeah, let's. It's so amazing to me how wide this frame actually feels. It's crazy, but it's cool. Okay, let's see. Driver's side is. There we go, just like this. Very good. So then we can start figuring out exactly where the bolt holes got to be. The frame is one rail is, and that's fine. We got a lot of layout to do yet, but this was the main thing. And the easiest way to square this is just simply dimension this hole here the same distance back from the front of this rail and mount that K-frame solid to the front of the rail. And then, of course, make sure that our other holes are flush like a toilet. So and this is exactly where I intend the K-frame to line up. And anything that we need forward of that, we'll just add on to, because we're going to need a bumper bracket and other stuff like that. But this is what I was hoping to do, because the first job of work that I want to get done here is to get this laid out, get these bolts in here, and get that bolted down. Let me show you what I've got. So in my travels, since putting stitches together, I found more stuff. I found another set of K-frame bolts, and these are perfect. And I actually had nuts, so these holes will get drilled here. These nuts will get put in there. Not sure how we're going to do it yet. We may, I'm thinking we'll weld these to a washer, and then we'll do like 2 plug weld holes in the frame, because they don't really want to drill through the frame here on the inside or the outside to put, so I could just access the nuts. I mean, I could do that, but I'd rather not, because I think like this one here, I think it's going to be kind of a bugger to do, but I'm guessing that I can make some kind of a tool that I can it back and then put the bolt in there, but whatever washer I have it on will be big enough that I can just bzz it down, and then it'll be good. So that's my goal. I still could, I suppose, cut slots in the side of the frame to reach in, but I think from the standpoint of, because bolting mounting points like this are points of weakness in the frame if you're not careful. So that's the direction I think we're going to go. So I have those 4 bolts, and we're going to go from there. Well, the point of today's episode was getting these plates put on and that kind of stuff. Our chassis table is pretty good. I'll have a few little tweaks to do yet, but I want to just kind of let it settle in after putting the plates on. I think we're good. I checked the frame rails. They're decent. Obviously, when we get to really assembling the frame, we're not going to be using wooden blocks. We're going to weld stuff down to the table, because once we start putting high holy heat on it and putting cross members and stuff in, it can do that. So we want to be real careful about having things down good and heavy. That's part of the reason for the sheer mass of this table. Now, I recognize that sitting on wooden blocks is not necessarily the most ideal thing, but it's sure a heck of a lot better than the way I've done it in the past, where I've laid stuff out like this, as you've seen in previous episodes, on jack stands. I've built cars like that. They work just fine. But I thought, especially since this is the exact same table we're going to use for the Golden Mullet when we build that entire tube chassis race car, the Pro Mad race car. Yeah, and then of course this expands out. I also have one more pair of these legs, so if I wanted to, I could just bolt them on there and go back further, and I have 2 more of those uprights, so we could potentially just bolt on here and go back further, and be good there too. So we've got options, is what I'm saying. All right, I need to quit. I got to get stitches outside because the blue Mini Cooper that Becky drives, the battery is bad. I picked up a battery today. I got to get that put in there for her because the weather's turning cold and the car goes arr, 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 So we want it to go boom and start, that kind of thing. So yeah, you didn't know there was sound effects, did you? All right, channel memberships. Appreciate all of our channel members. I'm cranking out more member-only content. There's all kinds of behind-the-scenes stuff on the chassis table here. So yeah, it little as $5 a month, and it's a huge support to me. You can't believe the difference that makes. Just that little $5, $10, $20 a month contribution to the channel gives you access to things, gives you more access to me in general. You can ask me questions that you may not want to ask in public, that kind of stuff. I've done videos specifically to answer member questions, so I really try to be there for the members. I've also got some tutorial stuff that I'm thinking about, like classes that I'm thinking about doing for the members as well. That will be paid content only as well. All right, I'm going to shut up. Yeah, that'll do it. We'll catch you on the next one, and don't forget, it's important.